So congrats on your new space, Ferndale Project here in Ferndale. I was able to get in a couple of times before we went to this lockdown or shelter in place. So I got to tell you, the vegan shawarma is amazing, and the beers were pretty darn good as well. So I didn't get to sample them, but I'm working my way through.
That's great to hear. It feels like a lifetime ago that we had vegan shawarma.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I got it twice, and I think you guys were only open in Ferndale, what, a month or two before this shutdown?
Yeah, I don't even know if it was a month. I think it was around 4 weeks. Yeah.
That's crazy. And obviously you have a tremendous amount of success in your Eastern Market location. Yeah, tell us a little bit about the concept for the new Ferndale Project space for anyone who didn't get a chance to try it yet, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we opened Eastern Market back in 2017. So we were a couple years old and found a lot of success down in Eastern Market. But we were running out of brewing capacity, and so we were looking at different options on how to expand. And it's kind of interesting thinking back now, but our entire business model was focused on direct-to-consumer sales. And so for me, it was really important having that experience of a tap room. I'm a little OCD about our beer and our experience. So for me, being able to ensure we have a high quality from the second we order ingredients all the way until when we serve a beer to a customer and they leave was really important. So when we looked at where we wanted to expand, we wanted to be in a neighborhood, we wanted to be close to our original Detroit location. And right around that time, Axel Brewing closed, and I was friends with Dayne, who was the owner, and CEO, and reached out to him just to, tell him I was sorry and see if there was anything I could do. And Dayne was like, "You guys got to buy us." But we don't really have deep pockets, so at the time it wasn't really an option for me, but we just kind of kept talking to Dan and negotiating back and forth, and then finally after a few months got to a point where we came up with a deal that made sense for both parties, and moved into this space. And it happened really quickly. I mean, in under a year we got our license and got up and running. At the time it felt like it took forever, but yeah, opened the new space. It's branded independently just because we wanted it to reflect the community and neighborhood that we were in, but also be a clear connection between Eastern and Ferndale, and finally got open, and then all this went down a few weeks later, so it was crazy.
Yeah. Tell us, this is a good segue actually, tell us a bit about how this COVID-19 and obviously shelter in place order is affecting your business.
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned earlier, it's really intriguing thinking back on our business model. It's focused entirely on direct-to-consumer sales and like I said, our tap rooms. And so when coronavirus came and the decision was made to close restaurants and bars, that obviously had a huge impact on us. A lot of people immediately reached out and asked me what it was like opening a brewery and then having it immediately close. But honestly, it was a blessing for us because if we didn't have Ferndale, I think it would have been a lot more difficult. When we made the decision to permanently or temporarily, but permanently close Eastern Market until this was all over, a big piece of that was the fact that we were considered an essential business because we had beer as considered food. But it didn't feel like an essential business. It didn't feel like beer was a necessity.
Yeah.
But Ferndale, we have a kitchen, and we started pivoting to a bunch of different businesses, pizza, frozen pasties. Those have been really successful, our baked goods. And so we could provide beer, of course, alongside the food. But for me, having that kitchen in the Ferndale space was huge. And then also just being in a community like Ferndale, I mean, so many people can walk to us, can ride their bikes. And so being so close to so many people, I think has driven a lot of our success. And so the other benefit of having recently opened is nothing was set in stone. We were very fresh and new to our ideas. And even when this all happened, we had just been open for a few weeks. So we were still tweaking who we were and what we were doing. Yeah. And so I think we were able to be nimble and kind of pivot this really quickly, which was huge for us to be successful. And that pivot, for the most part, was focused on deliveries. So that's really where we are wholly focused as a business right now, is on our delivery service.
Yeah, awesome. I'll tell you, I watched your video. I think right as all this was going down, you said we're going to launch 10 businesses in 10 days. And like, that guy is my new hero, number one. And number two, we're going to figure out ways to be friends, and we're going to support these folks. So I thought your entrepreneurial spirit really shined through. in that video, and it was a lot of fun, and your approach to it was really lighthearted,
Yeah.
given what's going on around us. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. I was watching every single business that you were opening, the Wing It delivery, all these different things. So kudos to you, and hopefully some of those become thriving businesses for you. You never know what happens, right?
Yeah.
In a like this, you just got to figure out ways to make it work. So how's it going for you with all those things?
Yeah, it's going surprisingly well. Thinking back on that time, there was obviously a lot of gloom in our industry, craft beer, and just kind of in society. And back in those early days, I just kind of saw myself as like almost like a cheerleader, just with my own team, just trying to get people positive and motivated. And a lot of my friends in our industry, a lot of people just didn't know what to do, and they felt lost. So for me, launching a business a day was mostly internal, to be honest. It was trying to get our team thinking outside the box, being innovative, and not just thinking about how our entire business just went to the wayside. That if we made that public, it's accountable as well. So as soon as you post a video of me talking about it, you've got to follow through on it. And so one thing that we've implemented in our space is we have a family meal every day, and we stay 6 feet apart and keep our social distancing, but our kitchen makes a meal for everybody, and we kind of sit around and we talk about either what's going on in our brewery society. And back then we talked about a lot of these ideas. So a lot of the 10 ideas came from our staff. I did a Zoom call earlier this week and had a list of the 10 businesses, and I hadn't thought about it, but amazingly 9 of the 10 I'd say are fully off and running and pretty successful, all in varying degrees. The one that we haven't done is our virtual brewing school, and it's really just because the other 9 have been so busy that we haven't had time to sit down and implement it, but the one I'm excited about, we'll definitely do.
That'll be cool, even long term, like even once we get beyond this. I think people would do it virtually. People would also come and do it in person with you, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I think I'm really excited about that. And I think the other incredible thing is that of all the businesses, I can't see any of them going away when this is all over. So I think in some shape or form, we'll still continue to do everything that we've been doing the past few weeks once we actually hopefully get through this and we have our tap rooms back open.
Yeah, I've been inspired by watching you guys pivot in such a strong way. I'm like, this dude is determined not just to go down, but determined to grow his business in these uncertain times. And I'm like, that's inspiring. And watching you daily, like, hey, we're having pasty day, which clearly was a conversation. I'm sure you were like, who can do something special? And somebody said, I can make pasties. All right, that's a day, right? We're gonna do that. But it was inspiring for me on the outside to watch that happen and think about how we run our business in different ways, right? And you can either become victim or you can get into action and do something. And I'm inspired by what you guys are doing, which is totally awesome. I want to know what we as a community here in Ferndale can do to support your business. I'm aware of you guys do a great job on social media marketing your different days, the special things that are happening, pizza days and Sunday brunches where you can come and pick up pastries, and you're doing curbside delivery. Groceries are basic staples. So tell us a little bit about all those things and how else we can support you.
Yeah, so we've got a few different things going on, and for us, the biggest piece is our delivery business. It's the safest way to get beer and food to customers, and it's also the safest way for our employees. And so if you go to www.wingit.delivery or ferndaleproject.com has a link to it, you can order either curbside or delivery, and we do that from noon to 8 every day. And then once we started to feel more comfortable and kind of thought through in a morning market, and a lot of what we've talked about is if we are going to be open, we are going to provide beer and food. How do we do it in a way that's safer than where someone else would go? So how do we create an experience that's safer than going to the grocery store? And so as part of that, we opened a market in the morning from 9 to noon. We worked with some of our wholesalers that are also struggling through this to provide produce. We've got milk, eggs, all the essentials that people ask for. And whenever someone comes and asks for something, we usually can get it there within like 24 to 48 hours. It's completely contactless and curbside. We don't really make any money whatsoever off of it. If anything, we might actually lose a little bit, but it's been cool to see the community come out and hopefully save a trip to the grocery store and then get outside and get some fresh air. We started doing breakfast sandwiches, as you mentioned, through that. Our pizzas are amazing, which is kudos to one individual on our team. To your point, we were sitting around, someone's like, I know how to make pizza. And I'm like, sure you do. And he made it, and it was the best Detroit style pizza I've ever had. And I'm like, all right, this is gonna be a business for sure. So that's from 3 until 8 every day. And then one thing we're also doing that I definitely want to promote is we're part of the Tuesday curbside market in Eastern Market. So in our downtown location, you basically drive a loop through Eastern Market, and we're one of the stops, but there's a dozen other stops, and you can literally get anything you need. You can get produce, you can get food, you can get coffee. It's a little bit of a wait because it started to become pretty successful, but you're in your car the whole time. And so definitely want to pitch that. And I think above all, just continue to support some of the local businesses that aren't doing it as well, that are struggling through this. So in Eastern Market, there's a lot. In the city of Ferndale, there's a lot. And that's something we need to start thinking about, is how we can leverage our delivery service to potentially partner with some of these other businesses that don't have the infrastructure that we have in place.
That's amazing. Thank you for everything that you're doing to inspire others, for the services you're providing, even sometimes at a loss to get groceries to folks if they need them, basic staples. Hopefully they still order beer and pizza from you during that delivery. Be a win-win. But awesome to have you as part of our community, and collectively for the city of Ferndale and other local businesses. We're glad you're here. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. If anyone has ideas, we're always open. So just message us on social media and mention that you watch this and just pitch those ideas, and we're all ears to everything, whether it's supporting us or another local business.
Awesome. Thank you, Dayne. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. Hopefully I'll meet you
at
some point.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be in for sure.
All right, cool. See ya.
See ya.